guys, welcome to lesson 11 of unit 6. This is actually my second time making this video because the first time I made it I didn't put the sound on, so I'm giving it another shot. We're getting close to the end of the unit, probably in a week or so we'll be there, so hang in there, we're almost done with it. Let's look at our learning target for today. I can use the distributive property to write equivalent expressions with variables. Okay, so we've been doing this in the last couple of lessons. It's a little bit tricky, so just do your best, and if you get stuck, go back and watch the last few or look at your practice problems to see what you did. Let's get started. So I'm going to draw another rectangle for this one. That's supposed to be the same one as the one above. It says a rectangle with the dimensions 6 centimeters and W centimeters. So meaning that this side is 6 and this entire side is W. Is partitioned, meaning cut into 2 smaller rectangles. Explain why each of these expressions represents the area in 6 centimeters squared of the shaded portion. So if you already feel confident about this, go ahead and pause the video and write down your explanation. Otherwise, I'll go through it and I'll explain it. So we know that to find the area of this entire rectangle, we need to do length times width. And in this case, our length is W and our width is 6. So we're doing 6 times W equals 6W. So the area of the entire rectangle is 6W. All right? Now, looking at this expression, we have that 6W here, so the area of the entire rectangle, and we're subtracting 24. And the reason we're subtracting 24 is because we're taking away this smaller rectangle from the big one, and the area of this smaller rectangle is 6 times 4, and 6 times 4 is equal to 24. So we're taking the area of the big rectangle, 6W, and we're subtracting the area of the small rectangle in order to get the area of this blue one. Alrighty. Now let's look at the bottom one. 6 times W minus 4. So remember, when you're looking at something like this, it's really telling you to do 6 times W minus 6 times 4. And what you're doing there is you are multiplying the 6 to both parts of the expression. That's why, that's what the 6 on the outside of the parentheses is telling you to do. So 6 times W is the same thing as 6W, and 6 times 4 is the same thing as 24. So this again is representing the same thing. The area of the big rectangle minus the area of the little rectangle. Alright, I hope that made sense. I'm gonna move on to 11.2. Oh my gosh, I'm hungry. Okay, it wants you to match the expressions in column 1 to the equivalent expressions in column 2. So I'm going to go ahead and go through them, but if you're feeling confident after the first couple, pause the video and try the rest on your own. Okay, column 1. We have A times 1 plus 2 plus 3. So in order to find an equivalent one, we're going to distribute the A to each part of the expression. So A times 1 plus A times 2 plus A times 3. When you solve that, you get A, because A times 1 is A, plus 2A, A times 2 is 2A, plus 3A. And you can look through your list and find that right here. Okay, let's look at the next one. 2 times 12 minus 4. So we're going to again distribute the 2 and do 2 times 12 minus 2 times 4. You can already see that right here. Another equivalent expression to that would be 24 minus 8, and that ultimately equals 16. Alrighty. C is a little bit different because it's asking you to do the opposite. So if this is really confusing to you, you could look on column 2 for the ones that are in the notation with the parentheses, like we were doing for A and B. So this one, or this one, or this one. If the other one's not confusing for you, this is how you do it. So you're going to look at 12A and 3B, and you're going to look at what they share in common. So A and B are different variables, so they're not shared in common. But both the numbers 3 and 12 share a common factor. That means you can divide them both by the same number and get an even number. So the shared factor between 3 and 12 is 3. And so that's the number that's going to go on the outside. Alright, now on the inside, you're going to put the number that you multiply by 3 to get 12 and 3. So 3 times blank equals 12. It's 4. So 4A plus, and 3 times 1 is 3. So you're just going to put 1B or B in there. That is the same as you see right here. Okay, I'm going to skip this one and I'm going to come back to it just because it's a little bit more complicated, but I'll come back to it at the end. Okay, E, 6A plus 10B. So I'm looking for common factors here, and a common factor between 6 and 10 is 2, so that's what I'm going to put on the outside. Now I have my A and I have my B. Now I have to think about 2 times what equals 6? It's 3. And 2 times what equals 10? It's 5. Alrighty, I'm going to skip F and come back to it. Let's do G. 2A plus 3A. So if you look at those numbers, they both share A. So you can take out the A and put it on the outside of the parentheses. Now A times what is 2A? It's 2. And A times 3 is 3A. So you're going to end up with A times 2 plus 3, which is the same thing as 2 plus 3 times A. Alright, I saved these two for last just because they're a little bit more complicated. So let's go ahead and look at D over here. What we're going to need to do is we're going to need to distribute the number on the outside of the parentheses. So we're going to go ahead and distribute this 2/3 to both and do 2/3 times 15A minus 2/3 times 18. So I know that a lot of you get scared by multiplication and division of fractions, but with multiplication we just multiply across. So we're going to get 2 times 15 equals 30 over 3. 30 over 3 is equal to 10, and so we have 10A. And then over here we have 2 times 18, which is 36, over 3, which is equal to 12. And so we're going to be left with 10A minus 12, which is right here. Okay, the last one is the same thing but with decimals. So we have 0.4 times 5 minus 0.4 times 2.5. So I know this is kind of confusing with the decimals and the multiplication sign, but 0.4 times 5 is equal to 2, and 0.4 times 2.5 is equal to 1, or 1A, And so the correct answer is 2 minus a, because 1a is the same thing as a. If you're confused about how I did that, I went ahead and did 0.4 times 5. And then I went ahead and did 0.4 times 2.5. Okay, and you have to remember to move your decimals after you solve them. Okay, 11.3. So I'm not going to do all of these because I really want you guys to kind of struggle with them and kind of try and figure it out so that you can do this on your own. But I will do the first couple. So we are trying to write an equivalent expression. So for the first one, we have 3 times 3 plus x. In order to find the equivalent expression, I'm going to need to distribute the 3, or 3 times 3 plus 3 times x, and I'm going to end up with 9 plus 3x. Okay, looking at this one, I have 4x minus 20. So in order to figure out what goes on the outside of my parentheses, I need to find a common factor. So a common factor between 4 and 20 is 4, because 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. And so I'm going to go ahead and put a 4 on the outside. And then I already did the rest of the work right here. I'm going to have 1x right here, or x, minus 5 on the inside. If you don't understand why that is, go ahead and work backwards. We have 4 times x minus 5. 4 times x is 4x, and 4 times 5 is 20. Exactly what we have here. Okay, I'm going to do the very last one, and then I want you guys to try the rest on your own. Just so you know, 9 minus 5 times x is the same as x times 9 minus 5. And we're going to have to distribute out this x. When we distribute it out, we're doing x times 9 plus x times 5. And so that ends up being 9x minus 5x. Okay, I really want you guys to try the rest on your own. Some of them may be trickier than others, but just do your best and come to my math help on Tuesday or Thursday at 9 a.m. if you need some more support. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon, and good luck. Bye-bye.